Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and it's good news for the little red wagon. The Rover 420 GSi Tourer is having a makeover. The last time we saw this car I was very unhappy with it, and we had to go and take it to a garage to get the MOT sorted out because there was lots of stuff that wasn't coming undone and it was refusing to be even vaguely helpful, and we found more rust in it and basically everything was bad. However, the MOT was done, they sorted out the bushes and things for it, they sorted out the rust in the sill. It still looks dreadful though, I mean really bad. Rover was experimenting with water-based paint I think back in the 90s, and the lacquer just falls off. My 220 Coupe looks bad in places, but this car takes it to a whole new level. The only panel that hasn't got extreme lacquer peel is the front passenger door, because at some point, I think in the 90s or noughties, it was hit and repainted by a body shop other than Rover. So that's the only bit that's good. Anyway, in order to keep the price down at the body shop, they've asked me to do a bit of preparation on it. So today I'm going to quickly skim around the car as much as I can before this thunderstorm starts and take off as much trim as I can, ready to get this car ready for paint and to look delightful in a few weeks time. Right, so I'm going to start off with the grille and then the back and then the interior door card so they can get the door handles out, and the side trim. Yeah, we'll do as much as we can quickly. Right, let's crack on. It's one of the few cars I don't mind putting a cup on. Right, I'll start off soaking the fixings for the radiator grille in Bulldog, because when I did the convertible, incidentally we're taking this car to the same place that painted the convertible, because they did a really nice job on that car for frankly an astonishing price. All of these bolts broke, so I'll leave that to soak for a few minutes. Meanwhile I'll do the headlamp bolts because they need to come out as well. Trying to remember how this all comes apart, and I'll have a quick look at getting these washer jets off as well. Big remembering game of how it all comes apart. It's been a while since I've taken the front end of an R8 to pieces. So these washer jets, you undo the little, or release the little clips on the back. The washer jet then pulls through, which is all good. But it looks like someone's done a wee bit of paintwork on this at some point in the past and painted the car to the washer jet mounting brackets, like someone doing on a windowsill 47 times over the years. I imagine you can still get these, I might have to look out for a set. Now around the back we've got the windscreen. Now I had assumed that this seal was what actually holds it in, but it turns out it is a bonded windscreen and this is merely a bit of trim. So I can take this off quite safely and reuse it when the car is all done. That's a surprising amount of water that's been caught in that gully, considering it didn't rain the last day or two. I might load that with a bit of silicone when it comes back from the paint shop. Now, absolutely bizarrely, this United States Postal Service crate with a $1,000 fine and 3 years imprisonment for misuse was kicking around the village during the snow last time, so I rescued it because I thought it'd be a nice accessory to be American stuff with the Crown Vic. It's also handy for putting bits of Rover in. Now they were keen for me to take off this bit of trim here, which I believe undoes from inside the car, because this tailgate is going to have to be bare metal, because loads of people commented over time saying about how you could just wrap the entire car, you could just lacquer over the top of it, all kinds of other solutions. Thing is, there is rust coming through the paint from the metal below, so anything you do on top is just going to trap that rust and make it worse in the future, and ultimately we'll need a new tailgate. So this is going to be bare metaled, which means we've got to take that outer trim off, which I believe means popping this inner trim off. This is so brittle. It's just astonishing how brittle it is. Oh, let's go and get the trim tools because this is gonna break. So I believe, well, this sits on top of, oh, that's gonna make a nasty noise in a second and shatter. And this stuff is just completely unobtainium. Oh no, it's not shattered yet. Wow. Okay, I'm astonished. Oh God, I'm wincing every time I do this. Oh. Wowee, that came apart without shattering. This is tailgate upper top. Made in 1st of May 1995. This is 28 years old, this bit of plastic. Now the side bits. The side bit's gone. Oh god, this one's gonna crack. Oh no, it didn't crack. Wow. It's held on by big metal clips. One of the metal clips stayed in the bodywork just there. Big metal clips that clamp it in place. And with that gone, I can see the big screws, well, that big screw anyway, that hold this in place. Oh, I'm wincing every time. This actually goes through the glass itself, so adding a little bit of lube on there because I don't want to force this and shatter the window trying to undo a little bit of screwdriver. Oh my god, that's really, really tight. Right, I cannot get them to undo, so they're soaking in penetrating oil. Oh, I might just leave them soaking until we get there and they can deal with that because they'll have better tools for it. Meanwhile, this number plate plinth can come off because that can be painted off the car. What I'll do is I'll just slacken it off so it's just like 2 bolts holding it on or something. Oh, don't break as well. Oh man alive. Okay, change of plan. Lubricate and walk away again. This is the rustiest one I've seen so far of all of these things. Let's use the old, they push the screwdriver into the gap between the nut and the bolt and the bodywork and make it undo that way, but it's not even let me do that. It must be completely loose on the other end. Second one that's stuck. Great. Right, I've just left one bolt or nut holding each of the tail light clusters in place so they can easily remove them in a moment. The bumper on the back is held on by a bolt either side just here, and I seem to remember there being one under here somewhere as well, but I'll have to go and have a hunt around for that because it's been a while since I've taken this apart. Okay, this one, or these two I should say, are very easy. What is this? It's a 13mm. I'm using an impact with an impact socket on it because I'm doing it properly to avoid getting comments. Again, I'll leave it not quite off for the moment. I'll let them undo it because it's literally just 4 screws and the thing lifts off, which might be easier in terms of transport. And if it's not going in the body shop immediately, it might be better to keep the car together. Because it's not booked in until next week, but I haven't got time to take you around next week, so I'm trying to work ahead of time here. So I'm going to return to the front of this thing, where these have been marinating in Bulldog for a while now. There we go. Oh, let's see if I can undo these. Yes, one's coming undone without breaking. I do have, at the top of my original number plate stack, a Rover grill, which every single one of these bolts snapped off from. It's a good wall ornament now, rather than anything sticking to a car. Phew. Always a relief when it turns rather than snaps. When it's not out of the woods, yeah, I mean, it could still snap, but... So that is all 5 off, unbroken. This is basically unheard of. This is the rustiest R8 I think I've ever taken apart. And, well, it took an awful lot of Bulldog. I mean, look how much rusty, lubricated slime is down the side of this tool. Because every time one of them got a bit sticky, a bit stiff, a little squirt of Bulldog, let it marinate, work on another one until that one got stiff, squirt that one and go back to the previous one. And not one of them has broken off. Unheard of. So I've never done this before. I've always lost at least one of these pegs on the back. So, brilliant. Well done, car. Maybe you do deserve to be saved. Because they're going to do a proper job of this and pop the door handles out to do a full paint on the doors, we've got to take the door cards off so they can get them out. There are 8 screws that undo this. This one though feels very weird and goopy, like it's been kind of glued on to the door. Yuck. Really, really weird. That is horrible, in fact. Yuck. My fingers are sticking to everything. Right. At least it's an estate car because that can go in the boot. The rear doors are slightly trickier because they've got mechanical manual door winders, which mean you've got to take off a little tiny clip from behind the handle, which is exactly the same system they were using on the P6 like 40 years previously. But that is now out, And this one is also really gooey. It's like it's been taken off before and then glued back on. It's very odd. There we go. Easy peasy. 2 down. This is actually the tool I made for taking the door handles out of the P6. It's an old wire coat hanger with a tiny hook in the end, and that means you can feed it in there, twist it and pull it out. Easy peasy. Okay, several hours and several cups of tea later, we've been beaten by the weather and the fact our ride over to the paint shop is around the corner right now. Jason, friend of the channel, is very kindly giving us a lift back from dropping the car off. We've achieved quite a lot, not as much as I really wanted to, but we've done a lot, which is going to save a lot of time and a lot of money at their end. So we've got the lights are all loosened up. I didn't get the front bumper off, unfortunately. We've got the washers out, we've got the grill off. Oh, I didn't do the front trim, damn. They are going to take yuck. They're going to take the glass out because it's stuck, been siliconed in. They're going to take the glass out to do a proper job of the roof because we've got this rust area here. So there's so much more. I will have to source a new windscreen for this thing because there is a big crack which has been mentioned in every single MOT ad infinitum. It's not really a problem because it just goes in a little corner and goes back on itself. But when that window comes out, that will break. So I'm going to have to go and find myself a genuine Rover windscreen from somewhere because I don't want an aftermarket one. That's had proper Rover glass in it its entire life. And yeah, that's going to be a thing that needs to be done. Quite time consumingly, I've got all 4 door trims taken off so I can get the door handles out easily. I've got all but 2 of the bolts on the rear number plate plinth taken out, but 2 of those are just spinning, so I'm guessing they've got methods for dealing with that up at the body shop and they can whiz that out no problem, I'm sure, at the other end. So all told, I have saved many hours of work at their end. What they're going to do, they are not going to bare metal the entire car. They're going to take it back quite a long way though. They're going to take the bumpers off so they can get properly into the corners of the arches. Arch liners I think will be coming out. I've had time to get 1 door trim off. It's not particularly time consuming. Once you get the door cards out from the inside, it's really easy to just get a pair of pliers and pinch the little Christmas tree clips and that pops out. There's 1 10mm bolt at one end and a slidey clip at the other, so it's very easy. So Jason is around the corner right now, so that's why I'm stopping doing it at this moment. This is just shocking. This is like the worst paint I've ever seen. Door handles will pop out so that we can get them painted properly. I'm leaving these window trims on, these weather seals, for the moment because they did ask me to take them off, but the car is going to be sitting in their yard for a couple of days before it gets moved on to, up to a week perhaps, so I don't want it sitting out in the rain with no weather seals. But again, it's not a difficult thing to do. And the tailgate and this area at the back of the car is going to get bare metal because it's through to, the paint has gone completely, so we've got rust coming through. They're going to drop the headlining down, take the aerial off. They are going to cut this rot out. They're going to cut this rot out from here, so that's going to get new metal going in, which is going to be good. They're going to sort out this corner here where I've done welding, other people have done welding. It's just a bit of a mess. That's going to be looking good. Obviously these trims will come off as well. So overall, it's going to be very nice indeed. These actually slide out quite easily. These channels don't look too bad. It's very crusty here at the end, as we knew. This I thought was really rusty, but it turns out it's been siliconed in, so I'm hoping it doesn't mean there's anything horrible underneath that silicone. They will pop this glass out and then we'll find out just how bad it is. Now, I can't give you an actual estimate of when it's going to be back on the channel again, how long it's going to take, so it's entirely in the hands of the body shop. When I took Quentin the convertible down there, the painter got COVID, and so the car was prepared and ready to go, but it sat in the yard for about 3 months in the end. Not their fault. They had a massive backlog of work. They were just preparing everything they could, waiting for the poor guy to get back into the work again, but he was actually quite poorly for a while. Everyone, I think, is healthy at this point in time, so I don't think there's going to be major hold-ups. It's just a matter of them getting it into their workflow, but they're moving quite quickly at the moment, from what I can tell from their bookings. So hopefully we'll see this car again in a month or so with some beautiful nightmare paint. Whenever you write Nightmare on a phone, it spell checks it done Nightmare. So we're going to have a lovely shade of Nightmare Red on this car very soon indeed. Right, so thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you want to help pay for this, then hit like and subscribe, because those views will put pennies in the coffers that will make this thing a viable restoration. If you want to help even further, then please do consider becoming a channel member or a channel Patreon, because those memberships and patronages, those, again, pennies a month, all go into the coffers and make this kind of thing possible. Without that kind of input, this car would be just doomed to just rot effectively, because it's just far too much money to do sensibly and realistically, because it's not worth vast amounts of money. But it's going to look amazing, and it's going to be one more car saved, because there is, what, 15 to 20 of these on the road now. They are one of the rarest cars in the UK, and so the fact we can save one is really quite special. So by being part of the Furious Driving family, you are helping preserve Britain's motoring history. You can take that little warm fuzzy feeling away with you now. Thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and we'll see you again next time, and we'll see this car in a few weeks.